Holy crap, let's get right into it. We have to go really fast. Okay, so Sienna, we already kind of know what she does, but let's look at her abilities once again. Maybe it gives us a little bit more insight. So Sienna's first ability, Guardian Vine, deals damage to an enemy and grants bonus AP to Gaia and a random ally. Sienna's second ability, Earth's Blessing, grants attack and speed up to all ally Espers. Yes, nothing changed. Sienna's third ability, Wrath of the World, deals damage to all enemies and clears their AP. If the target's AP reaches 0, has a chance of inflicting stun on them after Ascension. This ability deals damage to all enemies, clears their AP, and gains Gaia another turn. So this is the big one. Gains Gaia another turn, so she can immediately go into her buffing phase after that. And if the target's AP reaches 0 later, has a chance of stunning them just as usual. And Tether, I think, is basically the same thing, right? But let's take a look at the 2 4-stars that we have not actually covered. So first, there is Chu Yi, who is basically the Death Guard Black. He's a DPS Esper that can inflict Seer, reduce all enemy speed, and increase own crit rate. So the first ability is Spirit Dispel. Attacks an enemy with a chance of inflicting Seer. If the buddy, or rather the twin, is present, then the strike deals an extra damage based on the target's max HP up to a portion of the caster's attack. And the second ability, Dead End, attacks all enemies with a chance of inflicting speed down on them. And if the buddy is present, if the twin, why is it called a buddy? This ability deals additional damage and applies the same status effect. So 2 procs, 2 chances to apply speed down, which is very nice. And finally, the third ability, Netherworld Herald, grants self crit rate up and then deals damage to one single enemy and then inflicts defense down. Now moving on to the twin Yuzi over here, who is the white guard. So the first ability, Soul Dispel, attacks an enemy with a chance of reducing their AP. This is slightly different to the one above, who inflicts Seer. And next, if Chui is present, this ability will attack 2 more random targets with the same damage and status effect applied. And next, second ability, Luck in Pairs, attacks all enemies with a chance of inflicting stun on them. So basically, it repeats another stun effect again if the twin is here. So both twins, when they use their AoE, when they use their second skill rather, they have a chance to stun and they have a chance to slow, which is insane. And then the third ability, Heaven Awaits, grants speed up, then attacks an enemy with a chance of stealing a portion of the target's AP. So clearly, you're not going to use them on their own. So if you do pull them, you will need to pull the other one for them to be truly useful. I don't think there is any situation where you want to use one and not the other. Okay, new features, added the DJ contest gameplay, so it is a fixed content, and I believe it's something got to do with like maybe DJ Max or that kind of stuff. And of course there is Sienna probability up event, I've talked about this before, doubles the rate of legendary Espers during this event, and if you haven't obtained a specified Esper after 350 summons, mind you 350, the next legendary Esper summon is guaranteed to be Sienna. This is superbly good. This is really good. This is basically a spark system. We do have a PT system and a spark system at the same time. This is wonderful. This is perfect. And next, of course, we have the celebrity profile, which is just a little bit of rewards and some side story for Sienna. And added Royal Flush. This is an event that is really similar to the Heron box in the previous event. So basically you get a number of keys per day and use the keys to unlock some kind of set. I don't really understand this too much, but there's just basically rewards. But anyway, more info when the event is finally released on Tuesday. And of course, like I said before, there are many new languages. And finally, there is the gift code function. So there is one player in the world who has the name No Codes in game or something like that. I'm sorry, but you have to spend 500 Nexus Crystals now. And on to the adjustments and optimizations. There is a lot in this update notice, so that's why I'm going really fast over here, and I'm glossing over some of the stuff as well. So now they are going to allow you to use Starrymon in your EXP quests, or rather your practice stages. And another important thing is they have again reduced the EXP gain in normal story stages and practice stages from hard mode chapter 7 to purgatory mode chapter 12. So basically all of us are screwed again. Why? And I like this, okay, so look at this, adjustments to the Cube Miracle. Cube Miracle battles no longer cost stamina. This is perfect. I don't really understand why we had to spend so much stamina each time. So it's about maybe 60 stamina each time, each Cube Miracle. That's a bit too much in my opinion, but now it's free and I don't really understand what they mean by increased relic drop rate. Currently Cube Miracles do not drop relics anymore, so they're probably going to reintroduce relics again, which is I guess kind of nice. And some relic set adjustments. So over here we have Tyranny of Zeus set stun chance increased from 15 to 20%. This is huge. So no one is using Tyranny of Zeus right now because honestly 15% is not so huge of a deal. So I think 20% is a nice fix, but I don't really like this. Okay, this is just a personal opinion. Astro Witchcraft set changes, right? So previously, whenever your members are stunned or under controlled debuffs, they gain 40% AP, but now that is no longer the case. You now increase the speed of allied Espers afflicted with disables by 50. This effectively turns Astral Witchcraft from a PvP relic, right? It used to be a super strong PvP relic. I think a lot of people don't really understand how to use it, but it's a PvP relic. Now it's just a PvE relic. So previously, the way to use Astral Witchcraft is to put it on Jin Yu Yao. So whenever your allies are stunned or something like that by an enemy Longmian, everyone gains a 40% extra AP, and Jin Yu Yao, who is immune to paralysis and stuns and all that, she would then transfer all of that stun back to the enemy. So that was a really good PvP combo. Of course, that's not going to happen anymore because of this. I would consider this a great nerf to Astral Witchcraft. And they have then optimized AIs in auto battle to improve the player's experience. We'll see about that. And I don't really understand this. Remove legendary Esper Tang Xuan from the beginner gacha pool. I mean, I guess it's good that now they are giving Li Ling a 50% chance instead of a 33% chance to be pulled at least. So I think this is a welcome change, but it's still kind of awkward to me. And of course, they have also changed Thor to Apollo. Basically, Donna is now replaced by Lucas. And I guess point number 11, we're going to get a whole ton of EXP boosters, not that it really matters that much, especially to the veteran players. So don't forget to take it from your mail, it expires after 14 days. And I think not much else. Okay, so there is just increased prices in Club Shop because they want to include new club features in the near future. So they're going to give us like 500 club points. I mean, honestly, I think this is a needed change because I'm currently sitting on a lot of excess club points. So we'll have to see what other new features there are in the game, but like I said before, all those TVs that you see in the club, those are potentially new features. Okay, and on to the fun stuff. Okay, so the part where we realize that we are either screwed or we are actually rather happy. Esper balance changes height. Okay, so height is going to get something new on his ability too. So previously, this is his passive by the way, so nothing changes, okay, so nothing changes over here, but there are new effects. So when taking the first deadly hit in a battle, height survives and restores HP based on current breadth of the deep stacks, restoring 1% of max HP, I think maybe up to 50%, is that it? And also, along with his usual 5% attack per stat, he also gains an additional 3% damage reduction per 10 stacks, up to 50 stacks. So he gains an additional 15% damage reduction on top of his 10% over here, which is 25%. That's very good. So assuming that you don't actually consume your breath of the deep stacks, he becomes pretty powerful. I think because the fact that he can survive and then heal himself after that, I think that's really strong. But it's not going to change too much for height users. However, it's going to make Temporal Tower a lot harder. Okay, anyway, next is Cecilia over here. Ability 1 changes a little bit. So she converts 100% of the damage dealt into healing. This is a slight buff, but it's not really that good. Cecilia is not that good in Point War, and she generally lacks a lot of use in a lot of the content in the game. She's just an annoyance in the Temporal Tower, that's about it. And this is the main one. Okay, so now Lucas has a slight change over here. Let's take a look at it together. Okay, so previously attacks an enemy 3 times dealing damage equal to 115% of attack and increases his AP by 15% if this attack lands as a crit. But now, each hit steals 15% of the target's AP. Wow, I didn't expect them to buff him up. I thought they were going to nerf him. So I guess he is buffed slightly, but now the question is, do you think that Lucas is going to be more preferred or Donna? Okay, and moving on to TA, I kind of expected this. There's going to be a slight buff to her. She was already good previously, but I don't think they were going to nerf her anyway because she was very easy to counter. Okay, so previously she had a 60% chance to absorb 20% of their AP on her ability 1. Now it's 80%. And next for Bion Dina, she becomes a little bit more offensive in the sense that instead of 80% chance to inflict buff blocker, she now has a 100% chance to inflict buff blocker. And there is a lot of rework in Celine, so let's take a look at her. Now, previously, she dispels a debuff from each allied Esper on her second ability, and if an allied Esper isn't affected by any debuff, then grants them speed up for 2 turns instead. And after Ascension, if an allied Esper isn't affected by any debuff, then you grant them defense up for 1 turn. And now, I really like this. Okay, so now I really like this. You remove 1 debuff from all allied Espers, and you then grant them speed up for 2 turns. This is a well-needed buff. I don't really understand why it's an either or previously. That really made me not want to use her, but now with this, possibly really good. So if I do not have, let's say Sienna, right, if I don't manage to pull her, I think this is a really good substitute for her. So Celine is potentially quite powerful, and let's take a look at ability 3. So previously it deals damage equal to 80% of attack to all enemies and reduces their AP by 30% with a 70% chance to inflict sleep for 1 turn. But now she has a 100% chance to inflict sleep for 1 turn, and that makes her a super strong Esper to use at the start. And she's probably as powerful. I would say that she's on par with Ira. And she's frankly, I think, quite usable alongside Ira at the same time. So you can probably use Celine and Ira, and that will be a super strong set of combos and massive AP control. So next we have Jiangman, ability 2. Previously, enemies marked with Nether Bloom will suffer a Nether Bloom blast after taking 5 attacks. So it's just an AoE attack, receiving damage equal to 85% of Jiangman's attack. This blast also deals damage of the same amount to 2 other random enemies, has a 50% chance of silencing the affected targets for 2 turns. Yes, this is quite a mouthful, but thankfully the new update doesn't really change anything in the past, but there are added effects. So inflicts poison on an enemy afflicted with Nether Bloom for 2 turns, and also has a 50% chance to counter attack when attacked by an enemy afflicted with Nether Bloom. This is really good because her normal attack also has a chance of affecting the target with Nether Bloom, so her having a 50% chance to counter attack is really huge, especially when used with Avatara. I think this is gonna stack really nicely. On to Bonnie. Okay, so Bonnie, I think she's really good. I think she's just really underutilized at this point in time. So ability 3 rework, this is quite exciting. Deals damage equal to 100% of attack to all enemies with a 100% chance of dispelling 1 buff from each target. Grants the team a 5% AP boost per dispelled buff, so basically up to 25%. And if the target has no buff, you then increases their ability cooldowns by 1 turn. This is so huge. But now, no matter what, you also increase the target's ability cooldowns by 1 turn. So this AoE is potentially very powerful. This is exactly what I want to see. And I think Bonnie is going to be quite essential in some of the point war teams. Next up, we have the Poison Queen Kara over here. Ability 3 previously deals damage to all enemies equal to 130% of attack and inflicts a speed down for 2 turns while extending all poison debuffs on targets for 1 turn. And now deals damage to all enemies equal to 130% of attack as well, and inflicts speed down and poison for 2 turns. So she's no longer the queen of poison, I guess, because she no longer extends all poison debuffs by 1 turn. So somehow they decided to nerf her, I'm not exactly sure why. But she has a superbly good ability 3 right now. So previously launches 5 attacks against random enemies, each dealing damage equal to 110% of attack with a 70% chance of stealing 1 buff from the target. This attack prioritizes new targets and deals less damage per attack to the same target. Currently, there is one very big change. I think this is really huge because now, apart from just stealing 1 buff from the target, you also inflict Seer on them for 2 turns. So she's possibly quite useful, especially when you use other Espers such as Chloe, who can randomly remove buffs as well. So if you follow up with a Bailuli, you can then inflict a lot of searing debuffs on all the enemies. And potentially this sets you up for a very big nuke. I mean, that's if you want to run 3 different Espers who are DPSs at the same time. But that will be it for the Esper updates. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, but I'm really quite excited about some of them, especially like maybe Jiangman and Celine. Definitely Celine, I'm really excited about her. I can think of maybe building her probably after this video. And preview of the new content. Our next version will include lots of new events and optimizations. We're also preparing to add Holo Battle, Club vs Club gameplay, and Esper skin features to the game. Stay tuned, this is exciting stuff. So there's finally going to be Club vs Club gameplay, and anyone want to mess around with Olympus, feel free to check me out. And of course, Esper skin, I cannot wait to see just what the awesome artists of Lilith Games have in store for us. This is going to be huge whale bait. So yeah, I guess that's it for Update Details 2.1.3. This was a lot of content and I'm basically losing my voice at this point of time. I'm sorry if my voice is starting to sound really hoarse. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, do consider dropping a sub. Subscribing is free and you can always change your mind. Anyway, this has been Free to Play by the way, and as always, I will see you in the next video.